A tech blogger uses a time-altering device to avenge his family against a ruthless corporate empire. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a sci-fi thriller from 2023 titled 57 Seconds. 3 months ago, Franklin, also known as Remedy, a tech blogger focusing on optimal health, finds himself on a plane with Sig, the owner of a pharmaceutical company infamous for releasing a deadly and addictive drug. As the plane attempts to take off amid police gunfire, Franklin senses impending disaster, with his life flashing before his eyes. Franklin takes a job as a ticket taker at a special event to secure an interview with Anton, a health and tech expert exploring natural health solutions. Arriving late, Franklin makes a poor impression and misses the full explanation of how to scan people's tribands for ticket verification. When Franklin messes up scanning and gets scolded by his boss, Jala stands up for him, and they start talking. They get along well, and Franklin asks Jala out. Instead of giving him her number, she sets an alarm on his phone for him to meet her after his presentation. After the incident, Franklin hurries to the bathroom and meets Andy, who has stolen a triband from his boss. Andy hacked it so Franklin could access the presentation since he couldn't afford a ticket. Using the band, Franklin sneaks past the guards backstage and arrives just in time to see Anton and his mysterious assistant, Ingram, arrive. Anton discovers Franklin hiding behind the curtains and asks who he is and why he's there. He appears to be talking to his assistant, and Franklin notices Anton wearing a fancy ring. Anton also suspects that Franklin's triband doesn't belong to him, but he allows Franklin to stay and watch the show. Anton starts the presentation by introducing the triband, his creation. It's a bracelet worn on the wrist that monitors body functions, decodes DNA, and creates personalized health plans for users. It sends reminders for eating and exercise. However, Anton's big news is the Triband 5, which makes users naturally enjoy healthy activities without reminders. It aims to eliminate the need for medicine, even for conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and addiction. Meanwhile, at the backstage door, one guard uses a taser to knock out the other before rushing toward the stage, accidentally bumping into Franklin. The guard fires his gun, claiming Anton's company controls everyone. Franklin reacts by hitting him with a wheeled table, allowing other guards to arrest him. Renee and Calvert disapprove, but Anton appreciates Franklin's assistance and promises him the interview later on. Before departing, Anton advises Franklin to inspect his bleeding hand. After Franklin gets it bandaged, the head of security confiscates his triband as evidence. Suddenly, Franklin spots Anton's ring on the ground and picks it up just as Jala's alarm rings on his phone. Franklin examines the ring closely and accidentally triggers its power by touching the stone, causing him to relive the same moment. Frightened, Franklin covers the ring with his bandage and heads to the restaurant. While waiting for Jala, he experiments with the ring again, and when the waitress touches it, time resets once more. Franklin realizes the ring can turn back time, but notices the stone has turned white and requires time to recharge after each use. When the waitress returns, Franklin avoids letting her touch the ring. Then, he tests the ring's time reversal ability using his phone's stopwatch and finds out it can go back exactly 57 seconds. Just as he discovers this, Jala arrives and they agree to go somewhere enjoyable. During their date, they chat and connect, with Franklin learning that Jala is an artist. In return, he shares his work writing articles on how technology impacts health, some of which have been published in newspapers. Out of the blue, Jala kisses Franklin, and they head to his messy apartment. As things start to heat up, Jala notices a woman's purse in his closet and assumes he has a girlfriend, prompting her to want to leave. Quickly, Franklin uses the ring to rewind time and hides the purse before Jala notices it. However, she then spots a picture of a woman and tries to leave again. Franklin resets the moment using the ring, hiding both the purse and the picture before leading Jala to his bed. As things get intimate, Franklin anticipates Jala's desires and fulfills them before she asks, aiming to impress her. The next morning, Renee and Calvert meet with their boss. Sig questions whether the attack was a publicity stunt and instructs Calvert to shadow Franklin for leads. Sig also tasks Renee with investigating the new triband to find evidence it isn't genuine. He's concerned that if it reduces medicine consumption, it will impact his profits. Meanwhile, Franklin and Jala are having breakfast when Franklin's car gets towed, observed by Calvert in secret. Franklin attempts to use the ring to prevent it, but he's too slow. Now, he needs to gather enough money to retrieve his car. After watching a TV ad, Franklin gets an idea. He heads to a casino and uses his ring to win every time. Soon, he's raking in money and attracting attention, including from Calvert, who finds it suspicious. With enough cash, Franklin buys a new car and believes he can keep winning. However, when he tries to leave, the casino staff attacks him. Franklin uses the ring to rewind time and attempts to sneak away, even leaving the money behind. However, the staff always catch him and beat him up. They accuse him of cheating and try to force a confession. Luckily, Calvert intervenes, leading them to let Franklin go with a warning never to return. Later, Calvert invites Franklin to lunch and presses him to confess how he's been winning, but Franklin claims it's just luck. Then, Calvert suggests meeting Sig, but Franklin declines because he suspects Sig is responsible for the deadly medicine. Despite Franklin's refusal, Calvert gives him his card anyway. Sometime later, Jala visits Franklin and is surprised to see his newly furnished apartment, making it look much nicer. While using Franklin's computer, Jala discovers a wallpaper of a woman. Franklin explains that it's his twin sister who passed away 4 years ago from an overdose. She was involved in a car accident and was prescribed Sig's medicine, which led to addiction. Franklin writes serious articles for the newspaper under his real name, but he uses the nickname Remedy on his blog to criticize companies like Sig's. Jala admires Franklin's bravery and promises to keep his secret. In response, Franklin reveals that he bought painting supplies for her. As the couple prepares to take a ride in the new car, Franklin receives a call from Anton, who says he's ready for the interview. Ingram is already waiting to pick him up. At the office, Anton presents Franklin with 2 tribands for him and Jala. They discuss Anton's invention, with Anton expressing his desire to eliminate medicine altogether. He aims not only to prevent illnesses but also accidents, intending to use a special substance with quantum particles. Anton concludes the interview by urging Franklin to follow his sense of justice. Later that evening, Franklin debates whether he should meet with Sig to make him confess his crime. Jala encourages him to go ahead. The next day, Calvert introduces Franklin to Sig. Franklin mentions his sister and punches Sig in the face, but then he rewinds time and acts respectfully during their conversation. Calvert informs Sig about Franklin's casino winnings, leading Sig to propose a bet. If Franklin guesses correctly what will happen after Sig whistles, Sig will pay him generously for praising articles. If not, Franklin must write articles at a reduced rate. Franklin agrees and correctly predicts the outcome, earning himself a new job. After Franklin departs, Sig suspects that Anton may be involved and decides to keep Franklin nearby. In the evening, Franklin meets with Jala, who expresses concern that the job might compromise his values. Franklin reassures her that he intends to gain Sig's trust to uncover the company's wrongdoing. He pledges to use the money to enhance their lives. Franklin even proposes to Jala with his sister's ring, and she promptly accepts. The following day, Franklin proposed to Sig a strategy to rebrand the company with a big event, avoiding the need for numerous praising articles. Sig approves, and Franklin gets his own office in the house. When left alone, a model tries to flirt with Franklin, but he declines, stating he's in a relationship. Sig, who's spying on Franklin for blackmail material, becomes frustrated. He instructs Renee and Calvert to devise a new plan to uncover Franklin's secret. Shortly after, Franklin and Jala move to a lovely house to begin a new chapter. Sig invites them on a Miami trip in his private plane, but insists they leave the tribands behind, citing company policy. In reality, Sig suspects Anton is aiding Franklin's trick with the tribands. The group reaches a casino, where Franklin resumes winning using the ring, yet neither Sig nor security detects any wrongdoing. Renee befriends Jala in an attempt to gather information, but Jala remains unaware of Franklin's secrets. Later, while Franklin and Jala are dancing, Franklin notices Ingram watching them, prompting him to hide the ring in his pocket. Shortly after, as the group shares drinks, a man approaches them and opens fire to hold Sig accountable for the deaths. Jala gets shot, prompting Franklin to retrieve his ring and rewind time. As the man approaches again, Franklin incapacitates him with a bottle to the head. When they get back home, Franklin finds out that news channels are calling him a hero, which Jala confirms. She also reminds him about her upcoming art exhibit, and Franklin assures her he'll attend. Suddenly, the news reveals the attacker's identity, and Franklin recognizes him. The shooter's wife used to work for SIG, and her death in the office was never covered by the media. The man on screen urges an investigation into the company, claiming they're blackmailing everyone. The following day, Franklin requests the file of the deceased woman from Renee, explaining that he needs to address that story as well. Renee assures him she'll investigate, but she hurries to warn SIG instead. Calvert, too, considers Franklin dangerous, suspecting that both attacks were orchestrated to enhance Franklin's reputation. With a strategy in place, SIG presents the file to Franklin, only for Franklin to find it empty. SIG attributes this to Renee's incompetence and offers Franklin another reward for exposing the company's issues. Shortly after, the two are at a bar away from their usual surroundings. SIG offers some shots and surprises Franklin with the gift of his car. Then, he escorts him upstairs where a group of women awaits. Despite Franklin's reluctance, he realizes too late that his drink has been drugged, leaving him unable to resist. The women pull him into the scene, while SIG captures everything on camera. When Franklin regains consciousness, it's well into the night. He hurries back home in the new car only to find Anton waiting there, who apparently bought all of Jala's art. Anton playfully chides Franklin for working with SIG and departs, leaving Franklin to face Jala's disappointment for missing her event and returning smelling of alcohol. The couple starts arguing about the morality of Franklin's job. When Franklin mentions that Jala benefits from the money he earns, she tries to leave. In the struggle, they accidentally fall into the pool. Quickly, Franklin uses the ring to rewind time and prevent the fall. Back inside the house, Jala senses that something strange has occurred, and Franklin realizes that anyone touching him during the rewind will also remember it. He explains the ring's power to Jala, who feels betrayed realizing Franklin used it on her too, influencing their interactions. Feeling deceived, Jala leaves, prompting Franklin to contemplate ending his use of the ring. The next day, Franklin goes to Renee's office with a gun to force her to give him the combination to her safe. She screams for help, so Franklin rewinds and tries again. Accidentally, he touches something on her desk that injures him, and in a panic, he unintentionally shoots her. Resetting once more, Franklin covers her mouth and forces her to write down the combination. However, he discovers it's fake. Frustrated, he tries another approach, shooting her leg lightly to get the real combination. With the correct combination, he resets again and opens the safe. Finally, he decides to simply inform Renee that he'll be occupied in his office for the afternoon. After Renee leaves, Franklin cracks open the safe to nab all the evidence against SIG. Then, back at home, he enlists Andy's help to expose SIG's crimes during a crucial basketball game. Andy's reluctant at first because he's worried about losing his job. However, Franklin persuades him by sending a hefty sum of money to his account. Andy quickly agrees to assist. The next day, Franklin prepares to leave town, but can't reach Jala. As the basketball game starts, Andy broadcasts Franklin's presentation on the big screens, which also spreads to all the news channels. The video exposes Calvert's murder of the shooter's wife, and reveals how she was silenced because she knew the truth about SIG's medicine. While the world watches, Franklin attempts to leave his house but is knocked unconscious before he can escape. He awakens in an airport, where guards usher him toward a private plane, while SIG demands he confess the video was fake. Franklin stands his ground, but then SIG drops the bomb that he's taken Jala to. As they're being forced together, Jala expresses pride in Franklin's actions, and he urges her to use the ring. Jala touches the stone, steps on a guard's foot to break free, and dashes towards arriving police cars. Meanwhile, Franklin is pushed onto the plane, which takes off amidst police gunfire. An incoming bullet damages the engine, causing it to fail. While Calvert suggests landing, SIG insists on continuing. Franklin ponders what to do with the ring until SIG accidentally touches him, triggering a rewind of time. SIG attempts several resets to avert the crash, but the limited time window isn't enough to prevent the engine from getting hit by the bullet. Franklin, unconcerned about the consequences, smiles, welcoming the possibility of SIG's death. In a desperate attempt, SIG rushes to Calvert to try to reverse what's happening, but it's already too late, and the plane crashes. Moments later, the police and Jala arrive at the crash site. Renee, Calvert, and Franklin survive the accident, but shortly after they move away, the plane explodes with Sig inside. Soon Anton also arrives with his assistant and discloses that Ingram intentionally gave Franklin the ring to test it. It's revealed that the ring is crafted from the quantum crystals Anton discovered, and now he wants Franklin to join his team. Franklin declines Anton's offer, expressing concerns about the addictive nature of the ring's power, similar to Sig's medicine, and deems it dangerous. Anton initially demands the ring back, but Franklin smashes it instead. Ingram performs some calculations, and surprisingly, Anton reiterates his offer, stating that he requires someone capable of refusing him. Despite the renewed offer, Franklin declines once more, returning the tribands to Anton. He then chooses to depart with Jala, opting for a life free from reliance on such unusual technology. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more videos.